Ever feel like you're just swimming in information, trying to keep track of everything new?
Oh, definitely. It's constant.
Well, get ready, because this is our whip check. A quick, sharp look at something getting a lot of attention.
And today, that's the Rivian R1S.
Exactly, the all-electric SUV that's really making waves in the car world.
Right. And to give you the real scoop, we've dug into some top-notch sources.
Yep, we've pulled the key insights from detailed video reviews by Doug Demuro and Marquise Brownlee, two heavy hitters in automotive reviews.
Absolutely. Think of this as your express lane to understanding what the fuss is all about with the R1S.
Our goal here is pretty straightforward. Cut through the noise, pull out the most interesting, most important bits from what Doug and Marquise found.
We want to give you a really clear picture of what makes this SUV stand out, the innovation, how practical it is, and just that overall wow factor.
So by the time we're done, you should have a solid idea if the Rivian R1S is actually worth all the hype.
We're looking at whether those cool features really work in the real world, if it delivers on its promises. So, is it worth getting excited about? Let's find out.
Okay, let's jump right in. Doug Demuro started his review with some numbers that, well, they definitely make you sit up and listen.
Oh yeah, like what?
835 horsepower, and a starting price around $85,000.
Wow, okay. That's serious power for an SUV.
Right. He was saying this is a really eagerly awaited vehicle, and those numbers kind of set the stage.
They really do, and you could feel that excitement in both reviews, actually. But it's not just the raw power, is it?
No, not at all. It seems like Rivian's thought a lot about the whole experience, like even just getting into the car.
Yeah, Doug was talking about the key fob.
That carabiner thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Such a small detail, but it kind of speaks to that whole adventure lifestyle image, doesn't it?
Totally. But then there's the phone as a key feature, using the Rivian app. That seems pretty advanced.
It really is. Being able to lock or unlock from anywhere, or, like Doug pointed out, find your car using Google Maps in the app. That's smart tech integration.
And Mark's mentioned being able to remotely vent the windows, too. Imagine doing that on a scorching hot day before you even get to the car.
See, that's the kind of thoughtful touch that suggests they're really focused on the owner's actual experience, not just specs.
And the hidden gems. Doug found that flashlight in the door panel.
Oh, right. And the portable Bluetooth speaker in the center console that has its own charging dock.
Those aren't just gimmicks, are they? They feel genuinely useful. Adds a bit of delight.
Definitely Doug Demuro quirks and features territory. It shows they're thinking about practicality, but also adding some playful innovation.
Even the locking sound.
The bird tweet.
Yeah, instead of a loud honk, it's subtle, different, maybe more refined.
Could be. Aiming for less noise pollution, perhaps. It's a conscious choice.
And the styling Doug seemed really into the boxy, muscular look.
Well, he loves his Land Rover Defender and Land Cruiser, right? So that fits.
Exactly. He pointed out how it's different from the usual teardrop shape you see on a lot of new Vs.
And that boxy shape isn't just looks. It usually means more interior space.
Yeah.
Plus, as Doug noted, the R1S is shorter than the R1T pickup.
By about 17 inches, yeah. Puts it near a Ford Explorer or a BMW X7 in length.
Right, and that shorter length actually helps its off-road angles approach, departure, breakover. So the design directly impacts capability.
That's a great point. It's substantial, but not enormous like, say, a Suburban. That size has real benefits off pavement.
Definitely.
Okay, shifting to practicality now. Cargo, passengers, that two-piece tailgate caught Doug's eye immediately.
Ah, the classic tailgate bench. He loves that from his Land Cruiser days. It's just so versatile, isn't it? Tailgating, just sitting.
Super useful. And inside, standard third-row seating on all R1S models. That's a big plus for families.
Huge. And Doug said the cargo space is actually decent even with that third row up.
Plus underfloor storage. And power outlets back there, household and 12-volt. Very handy.
And that built-in air compressor.
Yes. That screams adventure ready.
Being able to air up tires after off-roading or even just pump up bike tires, that's real convenience. Rivian clearly knows its target audience.
They do. Add the sliding cargo tie-downs, the seat folding mechanisms. Doug liked the buttons in the cargo area to drop the second row.
Makes loading long items much easier. And he mentioned that clever trick for campers.
Oh, the flat floor. Removing that one panel to get rid of the hump for sleeping.
And the camping mode itself, using the air suspension to level the vehicle on uneven ground, that's brilliant.
Seriously impressive. No more sleeping tilted on a slope.
Addresses a real pain point for campers. But Doug did point out a downside.
Ah, putting the seats back up.
Yeah, they don't power return. You have to lift the second and third rows manually.
At this price, maybe you'd expect power fold in return, like some competitors.
It's a fair point, a bit surprising.
Okay, what about passenger comfort? Second row seems pretty good.
Yeah, Doug said decent leg and knee room, great headroom, and passengers back there get their own little climate control touchscreen.
Control temp, vents, heated seats, even the dome light. Nice. Gives rear passengers more control. Plus, USB-C ports everywhere, including on the backs of the front seats, with clips for tablets. Smart.
Definitely thinking about keeping kids entertained on road trips.
Accessing the third row sounds easy too, with a button to fold and slide the second row.
Simple one-touch access. Though the third row itself, as Doug noted, is smaller. Better for kids.
But they still get vents, cup holders, and their own little sunroof back there. A fixed glass one.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. And then there's the main panoramic glass roof over the first and second rows. Makes the whole cabin feel airy.
Okay, moving to the front seats. First thing, no start button, just press the brake.
Becoming pretty standard for EVs now. Streamlines things.
And the materials. Doug felt they were nice, but maybe not ultra luxe like a top Range Rover. More utilitarian.
Which kind of fits the brand, right? Durable, functional, but still premium. Not necessarily dripping in old world luxury.
Makes sense. And the design is very minimalist. Very few physical buttons.
Almost everything is in that big central touchscreen. That's the command center.
Adjusting mirrors, the steering wheel, all through the screen.
Yep, screen and the little scroll wheels on the steering wheel itself. Creates a clean look, but means less tactile control.
Even the climate vents adjusting direction on the screen.
Yeah, that's a level of integration some people love, others maybe not so much. But Rivian did put climate shortcuts on the home screen.
For temp, heated cooled seats, defrost. That helps.
And some really clever software features too, like pet mode.
Right. Keeps the cabin cool for pets if you have to leave them for a bit.
And car wash mode stops the wipers going crazy, locks the charge port. Smart little things.
Show and tell mode sounds fun too. Keeps the lights and screens on to show off the car.
And the gear guard security system, using the cameras with that little cartoon creature.
Yeah. A unique approach to security alerts. Memorable.
Then you have all the drive modes.
Yeah.
All-purpose, sport, conserve, off-road.
With sub-modes like drift and soft sand. And towing mode.
It's clearly meant to handle a lot of different situations. And that air suspension is key.
Going from about 8 inches of ground clearance all the way up to nearly 15 inches, that's a massive range.
Huge difference for off-roading versus highway driving. And camp courtesy mode, dimming lights and quieting things down at campsites. Another thoughtful touch.
While most controls are digital, there is that physical hazard light button up on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's mandated. A crucial safety backup.
The steering wheel controls seem versatile, but maybe getting used to since they're context sensitive.
Right, they change function depending on what you're doing. Stereo, driver display, cruise control, and it's a capacitive touch wheel for the driver assist.
Which Doug said works well, lane keeping, speed adjustments, stop and go traffic, but no auto lane changes.
Not yet anyway. Software updates could always add features later.
True. And there's a wireless phone charger, nice Rivian logo design there.
Subtle branding. Doug did mention one annoyance though.
The turn signal stalk.
Yeah, how it returns to center, making it hard to tell if it's still on sometimes. And wipers and headlights are on that stock too, but controlled mostly via the screen.
Different from the norm. Takes some adjustment, probably.
Definitely move towards simplifying stocks, but maybe less intuitive initially.
And storage up front. No traditional glove box.
Weird, right? But there's a big center console, storage under the seats, and those cool pull-out door pockets. Seems like plenty of space overall.
And the front trunk sounds massive.
Yeah, really useful space. Multiple ways to open it, screen, fob, button, app. And that expandable floor is clever.
Folds up and sticks magnetically. Neat trick.
Yeah.
And you can close it from the app, too.
It's a great use of the space where an engine would normally be. Really practical.
Okay, let's talk exterior. The front end, Doug wasn't entirely sold on the lights.
He called them Dyson fan-like, the ovals.
Huh. But he admitted the light bar and how the ovals function as running lights and turn signals with headlights inside is interesting.
And the charge indicator light bar is cool glows green when charging. Easy to see.
The charge port itself is hidden near the fender, touch to open and close. Very clean.
Keeps the lines smooth. And as Doug said, the whole front, up to the back doors, is identical to the R1T truck.
Right. The R1S gets that silver trim around the windows, optional different roof colors, subtle differentiators.
And the roof racks apparently clip on really easily, uses the same crossbars as the R1T's bed rack system.
Smart for cross-compatibility. And tire options, all-terrain, standard road, even sport tires.
Shows they expect owners to use it in very different ways, from off-roading to performance driving.
Which brings us back to pricing. That $85K starting point is for the base Explorer model, which wasn't out yet for these reviews.
Right. The Adventure model they tested starts near $91,000, though early depositors got lower prices locked in.
And that's for the quad motor setup, the 835 horsepower beast.
Yeah, the dual motor version is coming later, around 600 horsepower. Should be cheaper.
But that quad motor, 0-60 in 3.2 seconds.
It's insane. In a 3-row SUV, all-wheel drive is standard, towing is around 7,700 pounds, range is 316 miles EPA estimate.
It's just a staggering combination of numbers.
Absolutely. It aims to do it all.
And driving it, Doug's reaction to the acceleration was pure laughter, haha, so fast.
That instant electric torque, it's addictive.
Mm.
He was genuinely blown away by the speed in such a practical vehicle.
And having driven the R1T off-road, he expected the R1S to be even better because of its shorter wheelbase and better angles.
He called it an off-roading legend. That's serious praise.
It really seems like the core appeal is that incredible versatility. Supercar speeds, serious off-road chops, family hauling, loads of tech, all in one package.
It's trying to be the Swiss Army knife of SUVs. Though Doug did temper the praise slightly.
How so?
Handling is fine, he said, but it feels heavy, not like a true performance SUV like a Cayenne Turbo GT or something.
Okay, that makes sense, given the weight and focus.
And the luxury, while nice, isn't quite at the level of, say, Range Rover or Mercedes EQS SUV. More rugged premium.
Yeah.
But the price reflects that tip.
Fair enough. He also mentioned the ride was maybe a bit rougher than expected.
Yeah, leaning a bit towards sporty tuning, maybe less plush than some luxury buyers might want.
And the cameras. Reversing camera quality wasn't amazing.
And no dedicated blind spot or lane change cameras showing up on the main screen, which some rivals offer. Room for improvement there.
Mark Burnley, MKBHD, seemed to echo a lot of this. He framed it with a great question.
The best SUV that you can buy right now just happens to be electric.
Exactly. Pointing out that EV tech is expensive, so these companies often end up competing at the high end right now.
He saw the R1S basically as the SUV version of the R1T, swapping the bed and gear tunnel for the third row.
And he noticed some subtle improvements inside compared to early R1Ts, like the sound system.
Yeah, he said the Meridian system was already good, but now it's way better. Nice refinement.
He agreed on the second row space being reasonable, third row for kids, but he was really impressed by the trunk.
That whole area, split gate, tie downs, power outlet, air compressor, the sub-trunk storage, he thought it was excellent.
Massive space with the seats down too, fit bikes, maybe even a mattress for camping.
That highlights the practicality again. And driving it, he also called the quad motor version a missile.
But he felt the shorter wheelbase compared to the R1T made it feel a bit more nimble. Better turning radius, better breakover angle too.
Makes sense. He liked the relaxed all-purpose mode, but felt sport mode was maybe a bit looser, less buttoned down than in the R1T. Interesting observation.
And he brought up the competition, everything from a much cheaper Toyota Highlander or Honda Pilot.
All the way up to maybe even a Cadillac Escalade, depending on how you spec it.
But his point was the R1S offers that unique combo those others lack. The tech, the crazy speed, the EV benefits.
It occupies a really interesting space in the market, and you mentioned the future R2 platform aiming for lower prices.
Something lots of people are waiting for.
For sure. But overall, Marquis are incredibly impressed with the R1S as Rivian's first proper SUV. Set a very high bar.
And that Doug score, 74 out of 100.
Tying the McLaren F1. That's unbelievable. It speaks volumes about its sheer range of capabilities.
So, wrapping this whip checkup, the Rivian R1S really does seem like a compelling, almost category-defying vehicle.
Right. It blends that insane performance, real off-road ability, family practicality, and cutting-edge tech in a way few, if any, others do.
That mix of supercar acceleration and legitimate trail readiness in a 7-seater EV is what's truly remarkable.
So back to Marquis' question. Is it the best SUV? Well, best is always tricky. Depends what you need.
But it's hard to argue against its unique and impressive combination of talents. It sets itself apart, even with that premium price.
Definitely.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Think about the usual compromises you make when choosing a car. Performance versus practicality. Off-road versus on-road refinement.
Those classic trade-offs.
Does the Rivian R1S, by doing so many different things so well, challenge those old assumptions. Is this kind of multi-talented vehicle the future blueprint for SUVs?
It's a fascinating question. Definitely makes you think about where the whole EV transition is, taking vehicle design and capability.
Worth keeping an eye on, for sure.
Thanks for taking this exciting whip check with us.